Dr. Christy Ennis. Whether you are injured, like me, or you just don't like holding weights, or you can't hold weights, or you don't have access to weights, you are still going to be able to work those buns with these 5 exercises today. For our first exercise, we're working all of the glutes. And no, we're not just going to lounge around in this position. You need a sturdy bench or a couch. You're going to let that bench or couch rest just below those shoulder blades and bring my feet out. Kind of the starting position here is, yes, that hangout position. My head is looking forward. As I come up, I'm really thinking about trying to keep a nice straight line, so I'm pushing up as high as I can, and notice my head goes back so that everything is straight. And then as I come back down, I'm hinging, right? So my head is kind of following along with me. Ideally, you want about a 90-degree angle in those shins. Sometimes that's not comfortable though, so you play around with what actually feels best for you. If you need this to be a little bit more challenging, you can go with a staggered stance, so one foot is somewhat in front. Same idea, and you would do both sides. And then if you still need more, you would do a single leg one, which, yes, is most definitely even harder than that. Now, if this position in general is not okay for you, stay tuned. I will show you a modification that you can do as well. And also make sure that you're doing as many reps as you can so that you get a little bit of fatigue, but not so that your glutes are going to give out on you. If that hip thrust position just doesn't work for you, whether it's too uncomfortable or it just isn't good for your body, you can go ahead and do a bridge. So I'm all the way on the ground now, obviously. If you can, you're to do a little pelvic tilt, hands down by your side, pressing hopefully equally into those feet, lifting up as high as you can without arching through that spine. That also includes the rib cage. If this feels like it's just not quite enough for you, you need it to be a little bit more difficult, you can go ahead. First option would be a single leg bridge. So that's just lifting one leg up and then you're doing all the work with one leg. And again, you obviously want to do both sides on that. The next advancement of that is actually staying up in that bridge and then adding a little march. I know it's both sides, but that one is actually harder to do because you really have to stabilize that pelvis, and you'll definitely feel those glutes kicking in and those hamstrings kicking in as well. For this one, grab your bench or your step, or if you're as old or older than me, a phone book. You guys will know what that is. You're going to start with one foot right up there. The other one is going to drop down into a lunge. As I do this, this front knee is coming forward just a little bit, and that actually really activates those glutes and a little bit into those quads. And that's actually why we've got this little bench or step or book there too. You just get a little bit of extra oomph into those glutes as you go. However, I will show you a modification next if you can't do this. If that phone book one didn't work for you, this is the alternative. Grabbing on to something sturdy to hang on to if need be for balance. This time we're actually just going to drop back down into a regular lunge. Same idea though, that knee just goes just forward a touch. That shows how deep you're going and how big of a stance you're taking. We want to make sure that we go reverse lunge versus a forward lunge, just because we do get those glutes a little bit more and those quads a little bit less. We're gonna work those side buns and upper buns a little bit here with this next one. So you're gonna step right out into the side, into a side lunge. So I'm dropping that butt down. From there, you're gonna take that same leg and cross it right in back of you for a curtsy. So now we're getting that opposite butt. So when I go out this way, it's this leg. You get a nice little stretch there at the same time. And then you're curtsying behind, trying to keep those hips as square as you can, those toes pointed forward as much as you can as well. If you need this to be a little bit more difficult, you can grab a band and put it above the knees and do the same thing. It's much more convenient to pack a band than it is to pack a weight. Next one is on your hands and knees or the quadruped position. And if this is uncomfortable, I will show you an alternative. You want to make sure that you're in that happy neutral spine, shoulders over those wrists. I'm going to use this leg, keep that knee bent, and I'm pushing up to the ceiling. So notice I'm not arching through the spine, or I'm going to use my back. I really want to engage in through those lower glutes. And to make this one a little bit harder, same kind of thing as the last one, you can go ahead and actually take a band and place it above the knees and do this same motion. If that was too uncomfortable to be on your hands and knees, you can do this one standing. You just need a wall or a counter. You're going to keep your back flat, but scooch up so you're almost like in that push-up position. Same idea with that bent knee, and now I'm pressing up towards the ceiling, keeping both my hips pointed straight down. So we're still activating those same muscles, but again, in a standing position. And if you do want this one to be harder as well, you go ahead and you throw that band on just above those knees again. To really target all those side hip muscles, we're gonna lie right on our side. So you wanna look down at your feet and see just your feet and your pretty toes and not much of your leg. If you are, it means your leg is too far forward. You wanna make sure you're rolled all the way on your side, so you can put a little pillow under there if you need it for a little extra cushioning. Gently have your hand on the ground, don't smush down into it. From here, you're gonna bend your knees. Notice my hips are not coming forward. Feet stay glued together, and then that top knee opens up, just like this. If you want this one to be a little bit harder, in this same position, you're just gonna lift those shins up now, and then add that same rotation there. I'm gonna show you an alternative if it's bothersome for you to lie on your side as well. As an alternative to the one on the ground, you clearly are gonna do this seated. I do like people to do this with a band because I generally think it's not quite enough unless you do. You're gonna start by getting to the edge of your seat and you're actually gonna lean forward a little. Now all we're doing is pulling those legs apart. I have somebody call this a simple, stupid one because it seems like it's easy, but it gets really challenging after a while. So you'll do as many as you can in this position to start to feel, again, a little fatigue. Then you're actually gonna sit it back and do the same thing. Now, I know it doesn't seem like much of a difference, but you're actually targeting multiple areas of the muscle, and you will definitely feel fatigue by the time you are done with this one. So there you have it. 5 ways to build those buns without even needing to have weights.